All right, welcome to another episode of Gin and Truth. I'm the captain of this ship, Robert motherfucking Reed. Got a tunnel full of hinge, got a mindful of thoughts. Let's go. All right, gang, let's jump into this shit. Happy Blasphemy Sunday. Gang, the meat of today's rotted sandwich is: did God create evil? The answer is yes. Christians, do us all a favor and please go fuck yourselves. This very simple question is exactly why the God that I don't believe in created Christian apologetics, right? If he is the Alpha and the Omega, if everything goes down according to his perfect and unchanging plan, then yeah. He's got the foreknowledge, he's got the power, he's got all this shit. The answer is yes. Now, gang, this is a very strong, this is almost a gold standard of the example on why it is I don't like talking to Christians anymore, especially apologists. Trying to get these motherfuckers to agree on a single topic is literally like having to make a soup sandwich. You can't do it, right? There's over 30,000 denominations of just Christianity, each one thinking that they are correct while the other ones are the ones that got it dead wrong. I told you, you've never met the one Christian who's like, oh, me? Don't listen to me. I'm straight sitting on some bullshit. I fucked this all the way. No, it's always those Christians over there. And I swear before God and for more white people, this actually just happened last week at work. And she called it a debate. It wasn't a debate. I don't actively seek out these conversations, not anymore. They're just no longer fun. Especially, again, at this stage, I know what's about to happen. So I'm just like, I don't be it. But if it comes up, and there's a lady at work who, if you ask me, most of the time she's playfully trying to get me to come back to the flock. And the other times, I think she's really going for it. Well, just last week, we're sitting here and we're talking. And what was it? Long story short, we got on the topic of free will. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as free will underneath the God model. Not a gotcha question at all. But again, I became an atheist at 39. And I asked her, do you agree? No pressure. You can tell me I'm wrong. You're the practicing Christian, not me. But does God have a perfect and unchanging plan? Because perfect and unchanging is not too terribly uncommon of a pairing of adjectives when describing God's plan. That's how I was brought up. I didn't make that shit up. So like, yeah, he does. So unchanging. I want to make sure I'm hearing this right. She's like, yes, it's unchanging and it's perfect. Okay. Would any amount of prayer and well wishes changed me becoming an atheist at 39? She kind of slightly didn't answer, but not really yes answered. And there was just this back and forth. And I'm like, okay, then cut right through it. I die tonight, because enough of this bullshit that I'm going to live to see 80 years old. Like, oh, you're going to find God. Shut the fuck up. I die tonight, friend. According to your religion, I'm going to go to hell and be tortured forever. Is that how you see it? She refused to answer the question. Refused. And again, and that's Christian apologetics. That's Christianity. Why give a simple, straightforward answer to a binary proposition when I can talk for 25 minutes and not even come close to answering the goddamn question? Because she did. She hemmed, she hawed. It's like, am I going to go to hell? Because that's the only thing that gets you there, is not believing in God, right? You're going to have a total conversion. One day you're going to believe in Jesus. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, am I going to go to hell? Right? Well, in the book of Genesis, I didn't ask about the book of Genesis. Am I going to go to hell? Pizza, sleep, fast, kitty table. Give me a break. But that's what I'm talking about. And it's not their fault. It's not this lady's fault. It wasn't my fault. This is what you sound like, gang, when you are charged with having to defend the proposition that there's a timeless, spaceless, immaterial, disembodied mind that loves you so much that not even on the off chance, but on the very strong chance that you don't accept Jesus, he's going to fuck you up. That's how much he loves you. Shut the fuck up. Which brings us to the whole, did God create evil? Yeah. Again, he's responsible for everything. I just hucked the loo. You guys go fuck yourselves. Now, did you guys hear that one? No, that was your fault. Back on topic. This is kind of the sharpshooter fallacy, the gambler's fallacy. Let's talk about all my wins, but don't mention any of my losses, right? If I tell you I came home from Vegas with $1 million in my pocket, people are like, man, Uncle Bobby knows what to do on those blackjack tables. But if I leave out the fact that I had to spend $2.5 million to get it, kind of puts it in perspective, right? God created the world by talking to himself with the perfect foreknowledge of everything that's going to happen because he's got a perfect and unchanging plan. That means he created Lucifer knowing in advance that Lucifer was going to fist fuck him. And then he's going to turn around and blame Lucifer for doing exactly what it is he programmed him to do. I would say make that make sense, but save it. This is when enter the Christian apologetic tap dance, right? Give me a break. It even says it in the book of Isaiah. I create all things good and all things evil, for I am the Lord your God. It's sitting right there in the black and the motherfucking white that God created evil. And you know what they're going to say? No, he didn't create it. But look at that. It's kind of like Leviticus, right? Again, I did not grow up with this. So this is some newfangled bullshit. But Leviticus 18:22 is what it is we all know, right? If a man lies with a man as he does a woman, what they've both done is detestable. They will be put to death and the blood is on their own hands. Okay. The newfangled excuse on why that doesn't say what it actually says is apparently God, and I'm not joking, look it up. God couldn't come up with the word pedophile. So the verse should read, don't rape little boys. But instead, it reads just like, don't butt fuck another dude. So my point is, I'm trying to figure out how they would spin Isaiah 45:7. I create all things good and evil. I create the light and the dark. It says right there that God creates evil. If, well, fucking apologists was here, what do you mean by evil? On atheism, why is evil bad? Did you know that pizza can take a nap? That's why I'm done with the bullshit. You can't tell me that God is responsible for everything, and then you put an example of everything in front of the Christian. Now all of a sudden, atheist, you're so fucking stupid. You don't know what it is that you just read. Shut the fuck up, gang. Let's hit this with the Autobots. Transform and roll out. What do you see? This bullshit. Now, gang, this is going to hurt. Because for you newcomers, the guy with the baseball-looking shirt and the beard, that's fuckface Jeff Durbin. He's in the Cy Tim Bruggen camp of, could you be wrong about everything you claim to know? Jeff Durbin's a piece of shit. But I've told you guys this before, and I'm going to repeat myself. What really chaps my hide, in terms of flavor, hatred, this one right here is what just really seals in the flavor. Jeff Durbin is a legit black belt in combat style Taekwondo. And from what I understand, the man is very good. I've seen, excuse that, clips of his self-defense seminar. The man is a legit self-defense teacher. Women come to Jeff for the exact same reason they come to me. I want to learn how to fight back. I don't want to be a victim of a sex crime. I told y'all before, the big difference between me and Jeff Durbin, when I hear those stories, I cherish them. I respect them. Jeff uses those stories as a trump card during a debate. It's not that I don't like Jeff. I don't respect him. And for me, that's worse. How can you sit there and listen to the exact same fucked up ass stories that I listen to and literally go turn that into a debate trump card? And the moment that just really slammed the coffin door shut for Durbin, as far as I'm concerned, was he's sitting there in Dublin and he's quote unquote debating a female on atheism and whatever the fuck. And it was horrible. I did a video on it and looked a woman in the eye. And again, I repeat myself, this is a women's self-defense teacher. And he's doing the whole objective morality bullshit. Looked a woman dead in the eye and quite literally said, with this kind of fucked up ass voice inflection, so if someone kidnaps, rapes, and mutilates a child, is that wrong? Fuck you. Yeah, that's really all I can say to that is fuck you. Again, but this is all they got. Bullshit, word games, feigning ignorance, right? Making light out of a topic that should not be. I mean, go fuck your, who says that? And that's why I've always said apologetics only attracts the worst amongst us. If someone tells you in order to be part of our club, you have to make light of rape, Holocaust, the slave trade, all that bullshit, and you're like, well, fuck, why don't you say so in the first place? Sign me up. There's something wrong with you. But here's fucking Jeff Durbin. Let's go on over here to fucking YouTube. Again, the fuckface, well, this isn't his channel, but Dividing Line Highlights. This fuckface has got 24,000 subscribers. You guys know what to do on my bullshit. Hit that like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the blase, take a 5-minute break, then hit it with some of them motherfucking flavonoids. So, gang, let's hit it with the blow-ups, you wait. And this should be painful. Again, did God create evil? Yes. Instead, these motherfuckers are going to stretch this non-answer out for over 7 minutes. You guys ready? Let's roll the tape.
So let's examine good and evil. If God created everything and saw everything that was going to happen and hit that first domino and said, let it all go, then he's the creator of good and evil. He's the
Pause the tape. 10 seconds in, that should be the whole fucking video. Whoever this person is, let's call him Jonathan. Jonathan is right. What seems to be the problem? Yeah. The Alpha and the Omega, and he's responsible for everything sitting here in between. But yet, again, it's kind of like when God is all powerful. Through God, all things are possible. Then you show them some shit and you're like, well, he can't do that. And it's like, okay, you can't hear that? God can do anything and everything except for this laundry list of shit that he can't do. Right? Jonathan is correct. Again, from Alpha to Omega and everything in between, God is responsible for, except, okay, roll the tape.
Father of evil. Some people may say, no, God is not the father of evil. He's only the father of good. But evil is a perversion of good. But remember, if God saw that evil was going to come to pass, he saw that it was going to be present, he let it all happen, what does that mean? That means he's still the creator of evil because he's the creator of all. Evil is a part of all things.
Now, this section I wanted to get to because this actually allows us to touch briefly upon theodicy. But we'll just do this section and then we'll call it good. We've been going for 90 minutes. I've still got some other stuff that I'll get to. Would you trust me to handle this stuff?
You can handle it. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, later on. Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. I learned everything I knew from you. So
no, I don't think so.
But this is the theodicy section. And it honest with you, Jeff, it saddens me greatly.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Well, there's been a lot of discussion for a lot of years about the suicide rates in Utah and things like that.
Jesus, titty fucking Christ. This is what I'm talking about. Pause the tape. Again, no jokes about what he just said. But now we're talking about suicide rates in Utah. 50 seconds ago, Jonathan ended that sentence right there. Now we're going to sit here and listen to everything except the answer to the goddamn question. Is God responsible for evil? Again, if you weren't sitting on the bullshit, this is a very quick topic to discuss. Yes. I'm going to say it for the 1 billionth time. He's responsible for the Alpha and the Omega and everything in between. God has a perfect and unchanging plan. Nothing goes down that doesn't go down according to God's perfect fucking plan. Go to his fucking will. God created Satan knowing in advance he was going to fist fuck him. But yet some way, somehow, that's not Satan's fault. At 39, I became an atheist. Why? That lady said, well, Robert, it's because you chose to be one. How can I choose to be one when at 39, it was already planned out for me by your God? Well, he gave you free will. You didn't listen to what I just said. This is what I'm talking about. What is he going to talk about next? Unicorns, Brussels sprouts. How he's going to stretch this out another 6 minutes? Just roll this fucked up ass tape.
I don't know if this is directly related to that, but
No.
you have here really a humanistic desire to so limit God that you think you have solved the theodicy issue, when in fact you've just simply made all evil meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
My Arminian friends get close to doing this, not to the radical level that this does.
Pause the tape. How does that statement make evil meaningless? Again, what the fuck? Just roll the tape. I don't even know what to say to this so far.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a desire on the part of mankind that we need to fight. And so his argument here, I think we need to hear it. Let me, with that in mind, listen to this again.
So let's examine good and evil. If God created everything and saw everything that was going to happen and hit that first domino and said, let it all rip, let it all go, then he's the creator of good and evil.
So you don't even have the possibility of open theism there.
Mm-hmm.
I think even he recognizes, really serious open theism.
Mm-hmm.
He's the father of evil. Some people may say, no, God is not the father of evil. He's only the father of good. But evil is a perversion of good. But remember, if God saw that evil was going to come to pass, he saw that it was going to be present, he let it all happen. What does that mean?
What does that mean? How does the Mormon God have knowledge of future events if he does?
Mormon.
Is the Mormon God even sufficient as a basis for...
Okay, pause the tape. This is okay. Here we go. Fuck all this bullshit. Okay, so I've said this before in previous shows. Most of these apologists have their one bone against whatever, right? That psychopath guy, David Wood. Apparently he's an actual psychopath. That's why I said it. You guys go fuck yourselves. He's anti-Islam like a motherfucker, right? Jeff Durbin's hook is he's anti-Mormonism and Jehovah's Witness. He's always doing these street-style debates with these motherfuckers, and I don't give a shit, right? Right now, it's like, who would win in a fist fight, Shazam or Thor? I don't know. Shut the fuck up. Prove to me that both those fuck faces exist, then we'll have a conversation. But just rewind that just a little bit, right? Because
Mormon God have knowledge of future events if he does? Is the Mormon God even sufficient as a basis for prophecy, for example?
Mm-hmm.
How does God know future events within Mormonism? I've never had anyone really be able to explain that to me. Is that just a gift given to you over time or something?
Again, pause the tape. To me, this is hypocrisy. There's these two fuck faces. Look at everyone like, well, I mean, the Mormon God is straight sitting on some bullshit. But did you know that my God made a man out of dirt, then put his monkey ass to sleep, and took out a rib and made a woman, and then some fuckface who was really me but not really me was nailed to a cross, and 2 days later, because on the third day is when he actually rose. And so, did you know that really? Again, we're just gonna sit here and who's stronger, the Incredible Hulk or the Thing, right? Again, you haven't proven anything, nothing. It proved God exists first, and then let's talk about what the fuck face is responsible for. But apparently we're just going to go heels on Mormonism. So roll the tape.
I don't know.
That means he's still the creator of evil because he's the creator of all. Evil is a part of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot have a creator who would have a purpose in the existence of moral evil. It's just a given. You can't do it. It's the same thing in Islam. You cannot have a God who enters into his own creation who would have a purpose in
all things.
So you cannot have a creator who would have a purpose in the existence of moral evil. It's just
pause the tape. Why not? You're just letting words fall out of your mouth. Why not? Right? It's just obvious. You just can't do it there, fuckface. Why not? Why not? You're just sitting here making shit up. So I'm asking a legit question. You're saying, well, he just can't do it. Well, why not? Right? It's like Seichen Bruggen and all those other motherfuckers. There's a rule that says God cannot lie. Why can't he? Right? Again, he can do everything except, right? So again, that to me is just an assertion, right? He just can't do it. Well, why the fuck can't he? Roll the tape.
It's just a given. You can't do it. It's the same thing in Islam. You cannot have a God who enters into his own creation. It's just a given. Almost no Muslims have ever even thought about why. As a Mormon, there can be no creator God because that would mean he has to somehow answer for the existence of evil. That's what he's saying.
If God is creator of all things, he's also the creator of evil. If the God you're worshiping is the creator of evil, and that can't be escaped, you can try to think about it in a million ways to make God not the creator of evil. But if you're going to hold God to the Christian standard he's been held to for a long time, he is also the creator of evil. But if our Heavenly Father had a God before him and was created, guess what that means?
Okay, so how does he turn the eternal law of progression allow the Mormon God to not be the creator of evil? What's it going to be?
That means that there's something called eternal law.
You push it off to eternal law, which you then cannot give any.
Okay, pause the tape. This is they're just dick jousting with 3-inch hard cocks. This goes back to that conversation I had with that lady last week at work, because she kept saying, well, you just have to have faith. And I was like, actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. Well, you just have to. I was like, I don't think you heard me the first 500 times you said it. And I'm telling you, I actually don't have to have faith. I truly believe faith is dishonest. And the reason why I bring that up is this right here, right? You operate on the faith just like a Muslim operates on the faith, just like a Jew, just like name all the other fucking mythical creatures out there. It's all based on faith. So I'm asking you, how do I, the outsider, know which one of you is telling me the truth? Because the Muslim's going to say the exact same thing. You just have to have faith, right? This is all I'm hearing, right? It's just jousting, just bullshit. They're sitting there, he's talking like they got the mots and there's no debate. That's Durbin's song and dance. That's presuppositionalism. The fact that you can think, the fact that you said a word proves that God exists, right? Again, well, we all know that the Mormon religion is sitting on some bullshit. What's correct is me, because motherfuck the other 29,999 other belief systems just in Christianity. Those motherfuckers are wrong. Me, on the other hand, thank God, literally thank God that I'm here to set all you idiots straight. Okay, roll the tape.
Any rational explanation for the origin of.
That's right. And he hasn't thought through that clearly enough to even articulate what that even means and how that solves the problem.
It doesn't solve the problem,
right?
But it makes the eternal law impersonal, and hence you can just sort of say disconnect.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Right.
Not guilty.
That good and evil had been around before our God existed.
Catch that, folks. I want you to hear this. For everybody, you need to understand the Mormon God here. Listen.
That good and evil had been around before our God existed.
So he can't be accountable for it because, hey, it's a problem. He it's sort of like how every.
Okay, pause the tape. It's either the Mormon view or your view that evil entered the world because a talking snake made a woman bite on the pump fake. They ate a cursed piece of fruit. And so now we've got evil in the world, because that's the Christian stance. Tell me how that sounds any better, right? They fucked around and had 2 kids. God required a sacrifice from both the kids. One of the kids was like, hey, God, this is all I got. The other kid was like, that's straight sitting on some bullshit. One kid got jealous of the other kid, so he beat his sibling over the head with a fucking rock. Okay, here we go. Right? So you're sitting there, and again, it reminded me of that kid that me and Peter interviewed, and I got nothing bad to say about him. He was a fucking kid. But asking him, look, dude, again, you guys all operate off of a faith claim. Islam actually believes in blue-skinned angels. How can you scoff at that when they require just as much faith to believe in that as you want me to believe in your bullshit. And I remember, it's silly. No one near an atheist. Everyone, Blue Angels, that's ridiculous. Is it? A dude walking on water isn't? A white guy in robe and sandals talking to himself for 6 days, creating a universe with everything in it except for this laundry list. If all you got is a faith claim, you sound just as ridiculous as the next person. Okay, roll the fucked up ass tape.
Every president blames the last president for the economy.
That's
so
right.
whatever God stage you're at, same thing.
Right.
We've always been dealing with this issue. It's a tough one.
And when he was exalted into godhood and when he became a creator, that means he only organized good for the benefit of all of us.
When he became a creator, now you've got multiple creators, and
pause the tape. And one thing I guess I'll give the Mormons, I guess when he was, I guess, knighted godhood status, whatever the fuck. At least they kind of address, who created God, right? Because again, I remember that when we were in the Park Village house. So what was I, first, second grade, maybe, asking who created God? Because in my mind, it was like, okay, I've got a mom and a dad. They made me. My siblings got a mom and a dad. They made Berkey. Okay. So apparently you need parent. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. Who created God? Their response, get in the fucking car. They didn't answer it because they didn't have an answer, right? At least it was, I guess their God had a God and maybe that motherfucker had a God. At least they almost address the infinite regress bullshit. Christians, you just put your foot down. God created everything. Okay, well, who created God? God created everything. That's not an explanation. God created everything. Okay. But both of these claims, their foundation is faith. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all just sitting on some bullshit. Roll the tape.
We're watching Mormonism collapsing on homosexuality. Why? Because they have no ground for a meaningful definition of creator and the Imago Dei.
Pause the tape. I have no idea what their stance is on homosexuality. I just belch hashtag I'm professional. But if these two slap nuts are disagreeing with it, it's probably because they're not being mean enough to gay people. Durbin, Bauckham, Washer, Comfort, all these motherfuckers. Steven Anderson. You're not mean enough to gay people. You're not shaming them. You're not calling them names. You're not misgendering trans people. Right? So again, if these two guys are coming down on the Mormon stance on homosexuality, I don't know what it is exactly, but if these two are disagreeing with it, it's simply because Mormons aren't mean enough, right? You want to be gay? Well, that's not really the question. It's not that I want to be gay. I'm just gay. That's who I am. Like, you're straight, you're redheaded, you're left-handed. This is how I was born. So the Mormon's answer is probably, okay. And knock yourself out. Don't be a butthole on society. But yeah, go ahead. Be gay. Suck some dick, eat some pussy. We don't care. Knock yourself out. If these two slap nuts are disagreeing with the Mormon stance, how much you guys want to bet it's because they aren't mean enough? Roll the tape.
Because we're image of God. What's that supposed to mean? Even God's in the image of God. In the image of God. It's
in the image of God. In the image of God.
In the image of God.
Where's it stop? I don't know.
There's no
infinite
origin
regression.
No origin for it. No meaning to it. Exactly.
Yeah. And that really important thing there is that the difference between Kwaku's theology and his God versus the biblical theology, the biblical God, is that Kwaku has a law, a standard operating above or outside of his God, that his God must bend to, be shaped by, had to learn to obey. Can you just consider that? Kwaku worships a man who had to learn to obey.
Yeah, pause the tape. I think it's all sitting on some bullshit. But if I just had to pick, I would pick the Mormon stance. Right? That's the whole, is it good because God commands it, or does God command it because it's good? Kind of the moral equivalent of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Right? At least they're making an attempt. I think it's all sitting on some bullshit, but at least they're making an attempt to explain. Christians, God did it. Well, God did it. My dog took shit. God did it. My mom died of cancer. God did it. It's just simplistic bullshit ass answer. Right? God's just responsible for all things good. Well, how did that? God's just responsible for what could you explain? God is responsible for. Here we go. Roll the tape.
A law that is higher than himself, that has existed outside of himself. And when he sets things in motion, all he does is Kwaku says he shapes good. Well, is good a substance?
Yeah.
Is it what do you mean he shapes good? I'd like to ask, maybe he can articulate what he means by that. But what do you mean he shapes?
Okay, pause it. You're in no position to sit here and ask for a clear cut. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? To the same group of idiots that says pizza sleeps fast under the West, therefore the Mudge, and you want to ask for a hardcore, shut the fuck up. No. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Rewind that's bullshit. Oops.
Is it a what do you mean he shapes good? I'd like to ask, maybe he can articulate what he means by.
Again, pause the tape. Yes, good is subjective. And it's not a thing. It's like when they talk about the laws of logic. It's not some enormous vat of non-contradiction that's hiding behind, fucking Jupiter, and we don't ladle some out and pour it on a situation. It is a description upon reality, right? We cannot come up with a scenario where this laptop is on and off at the same time. It's not a thing, it's not like this cup or my phone or my shirt, right? It is a description of reality. Good, right? Did you remember you mold it? Good is a description on a wide range of activities, thoughts, deeds, words, right? We have put the value that good morning is a good way to greet somebody. It's not built in, but that's the value that we've placed on the phrase good morning. We say, hey, Robert, good morning. Go fuck yourself. We deem that as bad, right? And again, and you're right. You're right. Is there, why do I have to? You don't. You can do whatever you want to do. That's what I've always said about the Christian apologetic game. It never accounts for the 5 minutes after. Well, is it good for me to say, Robert, go fuck yourself first thing in the morning? No. By whose standard? Mine. Well, I don't have to follow it. Correct. Just like there's consequences. If that's how you're going to greet me every morning, then I'm just going to avoid you. I don't want to talk to you. Or I'm going to cuss you back out. Now let's both burn. Let's both have a bad day. Right? So again, good is quite simply a description on a wide range of shit, right? Roll the tape.
By that, but what do you mean he shapes good? Because you just said that it exists outside of God. It's good and evil are standards that have existed and preceded God, our man God that we worship, and then his God and his God and his God, and then all the other mother gods that have existed. And so what do you mean by shape?
Is good material?
Is good made of matter?
Exactly.
Or is it just an idea and therefore...
Pause the tape. What did I say? That's what the laws of logic. Can you touch them? Shut up. Shut up. Again, it is a description of reality, right? Fellas, if you got a woman in your life and you come home with flowers, it's not her anniversary, not whatever, not y'all's anniversary, birth. It's just because. It's just because. We kind of label that as good. That's a good action. Yeah. Right? And you can't put your finger on good. It is a description, right? And apologies, you would know that if you would ever shut the fuck up long enough and listen to someone actually explain this. It's really not all that difficult. Roll the tape.
Not real in the first place.
Right. That's what Rich was going to say.
Is that what you're going to say?
So yeah. 10 seconds here and then
yeah.
To fight against evil. He didn't create evil. Evil was already there. Good was already there. Good and evil are labels of actions. They're abstractions. They're not actual tangible things.
Yeah.
He organizes good to fight against evil. He isn't the creator of evil.
There's somewhat of an answer that doesn't seem coherent.
No, it's there's no meaningful discussion happening here, and it.
You know what? Pause the tape. There's no meaningful discussion here. Do you guys have any idea how difficult it is for me to listen to a precept talk about not having an actual conversation? Do not ask more from me than what you are willing to give yourself. You guys are the masters of not having conversation. It's just a word game. It's a puzzle. You lead people into the corners that you need to trap them in. Do you operate on faith? Do you operate on faith? I don't operate. Do you operate on faith? I don't operate on. Do you operate on faith? Do you operate on faith? Do you operate on faith? Do you operate? I don't have faith. Okay. Do you have confidence? I don't. Now, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you have confidence? When you explain, do you have confidence? Do you have confidence? Do you have confidence? Do you have confidence? Do you have what are you getting at? Do you have confidence? Do you have? Okay, fine. Fuck it. I have confidence. Confide with faith, which means you operate with faith. But shut the fuck up. That's all this is. And to sit here and listen to a precept try to dog someone else out for not having an open and honest right? That's like, Donald Trump wagging his finger at, did you jerk off to porn? I think that's infidelity. Who am I talking to here? Right? So the fact that two precepts are sitting there critiquing someone else because they don't think that person's being open and honest, oh my fucking God. Let's wrap this up. Roll the tape.
Chasing good, even though good isn't material and it's just an abstraction, and it's always existed, and so you can't come up with an idea as to why it was made or who made it or what the ground of its existence is. I mean, this is there's a reason why Mormonism has never produced a coherent worldview, and that's
pause the tape in the tape. Again, this is just so hard to listen to. Get these two slap nuts off my screen, right? That's why Mormonism has never given you a workable worldview. Shut the fuck up. And yours has? That was hypocrisy. That was some bullshit. And gang, here's shocking surprise. I'm just not a fan. Gang, Uncle Bobby's only giving you one big motherfucking problem. So as a result, Uncle Bobby's giving you one big motherfucking solution. Jeff Durbin, shut the fuck up. That was horrible. But this is exactly what you sound like when you are tasked with defending the bullshit. Because that's all this is some bullshit. Again, God is the Alpha and the Omega, and he's responsible for everything in between. God knew in advance that before he even made Eve, that Eve was going to drop the ball and listen to a talking snake. She did exactly what she was programmed to do. Let me repeat that. She did exactly what she was programmed to do. Christians, isn't that what you don't want to be a robot? Well, according to Christianity, I already am. God knew that apple would bring about evil, and he put it in the garden anyway, knowing in advance that the snake would tell the woman, eat this goddamn apple, and she was going to do it. But some way, somehow, she had the choice, the free will, to eat the apple that God made her eat because it went down according to his plan. Isaiah 45:7 straight up reads, I created fucking evil. It says that. I'm not even going to bother to look it up on the people's iPhone of knowledge. I am telling you what it reads. Now, go ahead and hit me in my comments and talk to me about how I took it out of context so I can delete that bullshit ass comment. This is why I don't talk to Christians. I'm no theologian. I'm no biblical scholar. I'm just smart enough to understand what the fuck it is that I just read. Not only does the Bible say it, the motherfucking story states it. Again, Christians, if your God is responsible for everything, that means he's responsible for everything. And you just sitting there and hanging asterisks, right? Your granny survived chemotherapy. God's responsible for that. Well, then he's also responsible for the cancer that got in her body, right? Satan did that. That's not God. What? What kind of bull? You what? Your favorite team wins the Super Bowl, right? Oh, that's God, that's God, that's God. God also sent the hurricane that leveled New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, right? That's not God. That's not. Again, it's like trying to put together a soup fucking sandwich. You can't do it. That's why I don't talk to Christians. I already know what you're going to say, and it's going to be sitting on some bullshit. The answer to the question is yes. Your God created evil. He's responsible for everything, including all the bad shit, Christians, all the bad shit in the Bible that you don't want to acknowledge. Well, guess what? He's responsible for that bullshit too. All right, gang, the big guy told you long enough. He's signing the fuck off. Gin and Truth, let's go. All that bullshit to still not truly answer the question. I can't stand Christian apologists.